And when I'm feeling pretty good, it's like I'm going to be here forever, going to be doing this. But I just recently had another wake-up call. We get them every now and then. So now I'm having a bout of chronic fatigue, which I've had probably since I was 10 years old. And from periodically I get, and this time it manifested by my heart. My heart started I noticed my heart, I just became aware that my heart was pounding. And I thought, and I knew that I'd been working very hard, I'd been overdoing, I'd been upset. And when I'm upset, I'm quite reckless the way I analyze for hours, write. And I knew as soon as it started happening that I had overdone, seriously. And there wasn't anything I could do. I just waited, and the last time I'd had my heart manifest in a chronic fatigue bout was after I had a cesarean. I'd had a major operation. My heart started acting up. I was alone. I tried to get help, and the girl came in and said nobody was available because they were all looking after an accident.
Wait a minute.
My heart was acting up, and well, no. First
you said nobody was available. You had to do the cesarean by yourself.
No,
oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, well,
I've heard you appendectomies on your own, but
I said, and I just had the distinct feeling that I was dying, So I said, well, I'm not going to be here if they don't come. So, after major surgery, and I was 42 years old, she ran, I guess, and told them it was emergency, and they come rushing in. And just before they came in, my heart it speeded way up, and then I could feel it, and it stopped. And then it caught again, speeded up, and then it just went right down like it was stopping. And they come rushing into the room and started working over me. I don't know what they found, but everything just... And the doctor, whatever he found, decided to keep me there for a few more days. But that was the last time that I ever had a heart. And I'm almost 80, so I suppose it's not too surprising that my heart would get involved. And it just pounded in this very unpleasant way. And then...
Did you notice that
for no reason hardly at all, except
you know what you just said?
What?
That was the last time I had a heart.
Well...
Folks, that was the last time she said. It's the most heartless woman I have ever known. Jeez.
But anyway, and so I'm, it just caused me to think, my God, I'm enjoying my life, my videos, doing all this stuff, as though I've been going to live forever, just because everything is working well. I'm not conscious of it. I've slowed down a lot, of course, and don't walk so fast, and all of those things, and I'm overweight, and so, but the hard thing just woke me up and said, oh, hey, wait a minute. Now I better warn you people that one of these days you can count on it that I will not be here.
Believe me, some of us are counting on it. We are counting on that for sure.
Yeah, so he's not even taking it in because he doesn't want to think about what would happen.
Oh, I know it'll happen.
Well, it could have easily happened.
We won't be making videos together.
Yeah, right. It could easily have happened as my heart just pounded, and then stopped.
What if I just get you stuffed and you can just sit here?
But now that I know that if I overdo, I could have that symptom. Believe me, I'm going to be a lot more cautious. And I did want to say that the reason
I've got heart disease,
The reason why, as I was trying to get myself in a situation, I it was a big decision that I had just made. You know, the internet itself is sort of mysterious to us. We're just learning how it works. And I had been on my family website for years, but I had decided that I had to leave because on the family website, we hardly ever, we've only maybe invited 2 outsiders, and the whole time that it's been going, probably about 15 years, I'd say, getting close to. And I had invited a friend on there who was going through a crisis. She was having to take care of a little boy, her great-grandson, and I thought, oh my gosh, if this doesn't work. It was the 3rd time her great-granddaughter had been in rehab, and I thought it was a very serious crisis, because this little boy, this beautiful, smart little boy, was going to be, didn't know what was going to happen to him, and if the mother didn't succeed in conquering her drug problem and coming out and taking care of him like he needed to be taken care of. So I asked the rest of my family if they would, if it was all right with them, if she came on.
And wait a minute, I have a question.
What?
I want to go on your family's website.
See, he wants to go on the family website, but I wouldn't even think of asking the family to tolerate him on there. So he can't go on there.
I need to go into rehabilitation.
But anyway, after, and you know, there were some issues with her that I thought I didn't really want her on the family website, but I thought this was a crisis, an absolute crisis for this poor child, and we needed to rally around and try to help as much as we could, that this might even have a better outcome for the mother if we all, you know, supported her effort to. Well, as it turned out, there was a happy ending to this story. I did not imagine that the ending could be as happy as it turned out to be, because she came out and she left the state with and took the little boy and his brother, and they went back to Illinois or somewhere where he was from, and they've been there ever since, and she's been successfully free of her drug problem, and the little boy seems very happy. I mean, it was just a wonderful outcome. So I was happy about helping through this crisis, but when the crisis got over with, I went on and I began to have, you know, doubts about keeping this, my friend's invitation to be on the family site. I actually found myself wanting to rescind this invitation because I didn't want her to become a permanent member on here. And I tried to think of every diplomatic way that I could tell her this, that it was, I didn't even, well, as it turned out, I didn't get a chance to tell her that the reason why I asked her on was not because of her, it was because of the little situation with the little grandson.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and but she took it.
And she doesn't know.
Well, this was not too long. You know, when I started having doubts. Now,
up there in a
you know, it really wasn't polite for me to say, "Now, I'm not asking you to come on here."
Well, you should have said
for you. It was
we're going to
well, but it was during a crisis. Yeah. It was during a crisis, and I didn't say temporary because I thought that would make her angry.
You got 90 days
and
with
I wanted to give
renewal,
this, yeah.
Right?
I wanted to give this little boy.
Sorry, we're not renewing your contract.
Yeah, I wanted to give him the best possible, and I didn't even tell my nieces or anything that I didn't, you know, I didn't really want my friend, you know, to be a permanent member, and she wasn't family, she was just, and, you know, I didn't think that would be a good thing to tell her right when we needed to gather and really be supportive for this
That'd
little child.
That would have been a time to really.
Not really. Well, I didn't want anything to detract from us all supporting this situation.
That's how those mountains from molehills.
And but she got angry almost immediately. I couldn't even tell her what my intentions had been or anything, because she just got very angry. And we had a quarrel, and I told her, it went right to anger, you know, and I told her, well, I want you off to leave this website. Well, I thought, of course, she would leave if I told her to, since I'd invited her on there.
Well, there's a lot of things that you've told me over the years.
And I hadn't really done it right after the little boy
It does have no effect on me. You've told me many times.
Well, it was just a gradual thing that I finally decided to tell her that this wasn't really a permanent invitation, but
that's right. You should have
she was very angry.
Shape up or ship out.
And the fact that she got very angry is one of the reasons why I didn't want her to be a permanent member, because us sisters, you know, we quarreled among ourselves, and that was very hard and stressful. Quarreling is very stressful to me. This is something that I don't think people even recognize how stressful it can be to, you know, it's something that we'd had in our family. Now, my mother and dad were quarrelers. They just quarreled and quarreled. They had the most terrible fights. So we've been raised in this kind of atmosphere, and some of us sisters would fight with one another, and I was always trying to get away from this, you know. I didn't want any fights.
Didn't you tell me your dysfunctional family took the fun out of dysfunctional?
Yeah, they did.
You took the fun
by getting in these huge, horrible fights. And one thing I did in my own family, I thought, I'm not going to have that kind of, as I thought we were all born too close together. And Mother would just leave us, and we would all just sit and fight, fight like, my sister and I, we could, that was only a year, not even a year younger than I was, we could not do anything unless we had a quarrel first. And we would have a big quarrel, and then we would go do it. And
what's the difference between an argument and a quarrel?
We had to have this quarrel, and I thought, well, now when I have my kids, I'm going to space them, first of all. I'm going to space them. So they're not darn close together, because that seems to create an awful lot of fighting.
You have some of the most spaced out kids I've ever seen.
Well, I had my kids far apart. In fact, the oldest one is 21 years older than the youngest.
I said they were really spaced out kids, right?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes they didn't even have a chance to fight. They didn't know each other. You know? They were strange. And the ones that were closer, the older two are only 4 years apart, and then the younger, a little over 4, and then there's the younger two are 5 years apart. So I just really carried this policy out, and I said, and my friend was more quarrelsome than I really wanted on our family website. She had other good qualities that it made everybody like her, but the ones that knew her the best, she would, and that was me, she would lash out and fight. Well, the younger tended not paying attention to us older ones quarreling. They'd learn to, you know, blank it out. They didn't even listen when the sisters got any of them got in a fight. You know, they liked the aunts, so they didn't want to pay attention if somebody got in. So our kids would never get involved in our fighting. They would just ignore it. And if we got in a fight, you know, we had to survive it by ourselves.
Well, maybe they didn't.
Our kids would not intervene if we was killing one another. Oh, hands off. Well, let them fight.
Yeah, but look at it like this. See, this is entirely different from my background. But if I got one of your kids, I would say, well, whichever one wins, I hope you would cook for me at the end of the day. I don't care who wins, but cook for me today, okay? I just want some food, Mom!
So here we had another potential quarreler. I mean, she wasn't quarreling every minute. Of course, it was a website that she wasn't even related to the people, so she tried to be pretty charming and
well, for
control of her temper most of the time.
Let's look at this.
But there was times when she wasn't.
Wait a minute. If somebody invites you on the website, the first thing you're going to do is insult everybody on the website? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, well, it was a website where everyone participated, so they had to pay attention.
Quarreling everywhere.
No, you know, it wasn't like Facebook. I mean, everybody could hear could read what everybody said.
Only
so
on your,
one word, and
only on your
see,
side.
there were times on our family site when sisters would get into argument, a pretty strong argument, and back then we might even get so mad we'd go off for a few weeks and before we come back on. So, but anyway, I had some quarrels with this friend on our family website, and each time I had one I thought, well, this is ridiculous. I've got to fight with her too on my family website. This is, but especially because the kids didn't take the same attitude. You know, they didn't let us fight it out. They tended to look on her as a guest still. And mother was beating up on their mother, one of the sisters, me, was fighting with her. And so they would tend to just see what I said and what I did. And they didn't even hurt, you know, they were very polite. They didn't pay attention to what she said or did. And I thought, well, these kids are never going to understand what, you know, what she, and she was very good at just sort of, you know, she got so she knew us all real well, so she could get by or figure out how to start a fight with me without them even knowing it. And then when if I got mad and manifested, then they would know it. Then they would say, Mom, you're acting terrible. And I'd say, well, I know. So
well,
I
she
finally,
push your
she knew how to push the buttons. You know, she was very good at
quarreling. I've been in sales all my life, and I look for hot buttons.
Yeah, hot buttons
I look for hot buttons, and I push them. But
so,
it has to come, I have to make money out of it. If I'm going to irritate somebody, like I'm talking about you, and no money coming my direction, you know, so what's the point?
Yeah, well, that's right. And so with her, I was a poor disabled, you know, I never made any money. I'd just go for years and never make a dime. And she was making a lot of money at one point in her career. So that helped her case because she was successful. And I was not successful. So again,
she was making money and you weren't. That has nothing to do with success. Okay?
Well, I couldn't make money because I had that damn chronic fatigue. Every time I turned around and get too stressed out, I would have an attack.
Well, right now, you're the most unchronic fatigue woman I've seen.
I know, but people get so annoyed, you know, with someone who's like that, that they can't. And a family has to keep, well, she's got, you know, I guess, and, but here they have an absolute success story in this woman who was on there, and they were coming to think of her as a mother aunt figure, I guess, but anyway, I thought, well, in my old age, I thought, if she picks one more fight, I'm going to have to go off.
Right? You're going to have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, because every time we had
I'll drop dead right in front of her.
Well, every time we had a fight, I would get very upset. I always get upset at any time.
And who has to pay for
my
it?
sister and I got into a fight on the phone. I mean, I didn't get over it for a year. Right. I would be analyzing that, saying, well, this happened, that happened. I'd have to tell the other sister.
What about the time you went to San Francisco?
I don't know how this, oh my God. Then another sister I got in a fight with in San Francisco on a vacation. And I had to analyze that
on the phone.
For 3 years. Oh yeah, 3 years. 3 years. I mean, a fight to me is a major problem that I have to work very, very hard to figure it out. See, how could I have done better? How can I get away from this? I'm the oldest in the family. It's my responsibility to try to figure this out and see if we can't change this. So anyway, with her, I thought, now if one, I'm getting to the point where I can't take any more fights. So she started one, and she was very careful how she started it. She knew by then that she might be detected on the family site, so she started it over in my blog. She was, and she, accused me of not treating her right in a very heated way. And I thought, oh, she's trying to start a fight. I'm going to have to just ignore her, so I ignored her for a couple of minutes. And then she went up on Facebook and said something to my son, which anybody else could have read it, and it would seem harmless. But since she just barely attacked me and accused me of being not treating her badly, I don't know when that was supposed to be. It could have been back. Well, absolutely nobody detected that she was starting a fight, except me, of course, and me being super sensitive. I was immediately enraged. Say she knew me, she knew my butt, and all she had to do was just say one little thing, and I would just get furious.
Give me my gun.
So,
I gotta cool you down, woman. I gotta cool you down. You're getting too hot.
He knows that one little thing, and I'm off.
Oh, I gotta cool you down.
And so when I saw this little harmless remark to everybody else up on Facebook, I said, oh, God. So, then I got in an argument with my son over something else. Something else that politics, of all things. I mean, how could anybody get involved in politics? Republican versus Democrat, liberal versus conservative, pro-life versus pro-choice. I got into an argument with him. So that got me all upset. And then on top of that, here she came with this tiny little teeny little needle that she was sticking in me. That my son didn't even detect.
Hypodermic needle, right?
Yeah. And that little needle would be sticking to me. I go, ouch! Oh, you awful person! Oh my God! And of course, my son had no idea.
Never sit on a cactus because you're not gonna like it.
I was getting into a very upset state of mind until I went off the website completely and said, that's it, no more. I left my family website. All the people that I've been interacting with for those, 14 or however long years we've been doing it, said goodbye to them. I cannot stay on there because this woman keeps picking a fight with me. And mind you, she only picked this tiny little fight that she thought was nobody would even notice. But me, I noticed it. I'm like the princess. On 20 mattresses, I can feel that pee. And I know that I've
wait a minute. I believe that you peed on 20 mattresses.
I am super sensitive.
I got a bladder
And that's why I tried to get her off. I knew she was not sensitive enough to be on my website. All the rest of the family knows how super sensitive I am.
I don't know that.
But she doesn't know that. She hasn't been a sister for all these years. So, you don't know how super sensitive I am.
I do know how super sensitive.
So I went off there, and then after I went off, of course, the family was all pretty indignant, saying, Mom, what'd you do that for? You can't get along with this woman. You haven't even done anything. I said, anything? You have no idea what she did.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
No idea.
Do you know what I'm going to do with this
They were going like, what? What? Did I miss something?
You know what I'm going to do with this
Well, my kids would never understand. Ever
Bring your mouth over here.
How bad that was for her to do that on a website. Because I'm super, super sensitive. I've always been that way.
That's not the word I'm looking at, okay?
My sisters know I'm super sensitive.
It starts with
and
an
if
S,
they want to
but
fight with me, they just ignore it and wail away.
I think it's silly sensitive. You're the silliest sensitive people I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you're one of the most supercilious
Okay,
persons
but then
I've ever
I
met
had
in my
to
life.
explain endlessly. I put it in my blog. I tried to explain what had happened. And
you are supercilious now that I think about it.
well, to you it's super silly. To me, it's
Super
just
silly.
being sensitive. See, he's desensitized. Look at him. He drinks this every day to desensitize his. He would be super sensitive too, but he knows he can't take it, and so he numbs himself. Every day he numbs himself.
You have just proved to the rest of the world why I drink.
Yeah, that is exactly right, and he's been drinking long
I
before me, so
I can put up with
he has to
folks,
put
anybody
with.
she would drive anybody to
Yeah.
well,
See, even through even through the numbing, he can feel things. See, so he's a super sensitive guy who's learned, and he does not believe that he can even live in this world without his numbing.
Right.
And me, I try to live in the world without that. I don't have cigarettes. I don't have alcohol. I do have food, and food has been my save. You know, sometimes instead of
Didn't you forget the word sex?
I
in there
use
too? You don't get
food for comfort. If I get upset over a quarrel, I tended to eat a
put on
candy.
5 pounds, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And what did you bring down for breakfast this morning?
That's why I had to get away from
barley
barley.
soup.
I have
Not
to
that
get
cheap
away
barley. This
from
is a $20 a pound barley. That's good soup.
Quarreling is very, very bad for me. I'm finding, I think I'm through the worst of it. I think that I've convinced my family that I'm way too sensitive to stay on that family website. That it's going to kill me if I don't.
Just remember,
I have to have
this is a
a
fork,
more
and I know
controlled
how to use it.
existence now that I'm going into my 80s.
By the way, folks, this is a fork, and she knows how to use it too. Bonk, 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 bonk.
And, you know, that way. See, this woman doesn't even realize. I haven't even called my sister for 2 years because we can't fight. We fight on the phone. And I can't take it. I've got to the point where I can't take those quarrels.
Shouldn't we be getting a telephone call right about now?
In fact, quarreling and fighting, no, it's literally fighting, quarreling, is, so hopefully, now that I'm got through and I am now divested of everything but my blog, I'm on there alone, and my videos, which only he is there to annoy and irritate me, and someone of my choosing. But anyway, on Facebook, so far I have not gotten any bad fights on Facebook. They sort of frown on that. You know, if you put a nasty comment on Facebook, the next time you look, it's disappeared. You know, they've got a bunch of little gremlins up there, those Facebook workers. They just take out those nasty quarrels. They just don't let them stay there. So Facebook is a wonderful invention. Yeah. And so when you read Facebook, you are reading the sweetest, nicest, most wonderful people that love each other and pray for each other. And you know what? Facebook has not so far been toxic at all to me. It's been soothing. So anyway.
Listen, if I'm not toxic, I don't know what is, right?
Let's hope, people, that my heart is going to calm down now.
I certainly hope so.
I'm going to be with you for a while longer, but I thought it was only fair to warn you.
Was that
warn you that I'm getting up there.
Is that the end of the month?
And I did have this symptom. So I thought I would also tell this so that my family would realize that I really do need to have peace. Peace. At any price, even if I have to go off the family
we're
website.
back to sex
I need peace. Peace. And it might seem like a minor reason, but if my heart starts up, that means that I have to be treated like a very, very delicate
flower just about to bloom.
So I can stay with you, please, a little longer.
Yes.
Just a little longer. Bye.